Hi, this is Demont and you're watching difference between Salesforce Lookup and Master Data Relationship. In this video, you will understand how to create relationship between objects, between standard object and custom object, between custom object and custom object. The relationship is more important because you can access child record data using specific unique key only if you have the relationship between two objects. So the relationship is more important. Using foreign key, primary key to access the child records based on master records. So if you have the proper relationship, then the customization will be less. So I'm going to create one lookup relationship in this object. So this is lookup, where it is saying that creates a relationship that links the object to another object. The relationship field allows user to click on lookup icon, select value from the pop-up list, and object is the source of the field value listed. So if you click on the lookup relationship, it will ask to choose the which object you want to make it parent. For example, I choose account. Click next. Provide the field label and field API name. Then there is option that you can make it required, or what if the lookup record is deleted. It will clear the value of the field, and you cannot choose this option if you have made this field required from the page layout. Or there is another option, don't allow deletion of the lookup record, that is part of the lookup relationship. So you have the two options to make. So for lookup relationship, it is recommended to use this option. If you have the business requirement, like if master record is deleted, then child record will also be deleted. And if you have any lookup relationship between specific master record and child record, then don't allow the users to delete the child record details. So if you have that kind of relationship, then you can use this option. Now you can also use lookup filters. So when you will click on a specific lookup relationship icon, you will be displayed one window, pop-up window, where you will be able to select the master record. So it will come with a filter condition, like for a specific requirement, like you will select only those account who's having rating as hot, then only those accounts will appear, other accounts will not appear. So this kind of relationship this kind of filter can be used. So I'll show you that later. So currently we are just creating one lookup relationship. You provide the field level security here, then add into the layout and add into the master objects layout deleted list, and click save. So one lookup field has been created. Now if you go to the object and create new, you will see this is the field has been created. So you can select records from here. So these are the accounts you can see already created. So this is the lookup field. So if you select one account from here and provide some value and save. So you'll see this is the lookup, this is the account, and in the related list, this is the related list, it will appear. So you can modify what are the fields available into this related list by clicking account layout modification. In the account layout modification, you will have to navigate to this related list section by clicking here also if you want related list, and click on the settings. You will see these are the custom fields you can choose. So for example, you choose this field, you can choose this field, created date, or different fields. Okay, now there is one option that apply this column information, this page layout modification for all these, this related list modification for all this layout. If you click OK and click on save, then it will be applied to all the layouts. If you don't want this to be applied to all the layouts, then you can unselect this. So it will only apply for this layout, okay. And once it is saved, you can see these are different fields appearing on the related list. Now if we go to the child object, you can see this is the parent object. So this is the mini view, lookup view. You can see mini view. You can also modify that view by going to the account layout. And there is one mini page layout. If you click on this, you will see what are the fields are available. So you can use different fields associating here. Okay, and if you want the related list to be appeared, so you can also click on this. Now what are the fields will be appeared into the related list, you can check. If you click on save and save, then you will see the layout, mini layout, it has been modified. So if you navigate to this, you will be able to see these are the different fields are available. Also from here you will be able to see. Okay, you can see this is the mini page layout has been modified. Now we are going to create on master detail relationship. Now if you delete this account, for example I delete this account, the page will be, the record will be modified and lookup value will be gone. You can see the lookup value has been gone. Now if I go to the field and modify it and saying that don't allow delete of the lookup records, that is part of the lookup relationship, and click save, and for example I open this and select, create an account here now. And associate with this object record, and save. Now if we try to delete, it will say it is associated with this record. So you need to delete this one first and then delete the parent record. So this is how we can control the relation of our lookup relationship also. Now for sharing settings, you can easily select the sharing control for this object also. So you can make it private also. Now we are going to choose the lookup filter. Click on edit and click on lookup filter setting, and here you can type which account field you want to use for the lookup filter. In the account, if you find account active is equal to true or yes, then only those account will appear. Otherwise it will say value does not exist, does not match the criteria. Or you can use the optional, you can remove the filter if value does not match the criteria. Now lookup window text will be like filter applied for active accounts, and you can use this to enable this filter or disable it, and click on save. Now you can see that in the field there is one icon appearing, record, this is lookup filter. Okay, and here you can see that active lookup filter has been taken 1 and limit is 5. You can raise the request to Salesforce to increase this limit also. Now go to the object, click on this. Here you can see the active account. So this account is not active yet, but this account, so you can choose this account. Now if I go to this account and set it as active, then we can see this account into the lookup window. See, so this is how we can create lookup window, lookup filter. Now going with master detail relationship, I delete this one and create the master detail. Okay, in master detail I will select account. Now there are several options you have to select, like first of one is sharing settings. So sharing settings is controlled by, if you have any master detail relationship on any custom object, then the sharing settings is controlled by parent object, that means account. Here if you have one master detail relationship with account object, then user will see the child record only if user has the visibility on the parent account. And if you have a sharing settings which sharing master record with the user, then you will be able to see the child record if and only if master have read only access. If it is shared with read write, then user requires read write access to the master to edit, delete or create child record. Okay, so these settings allows user to perform sharing option. So user requires read only permission to the master to edit, delete the detail record, that means child records of this record. So user need only read only access to account to edit, delete, create this object record. So sharing settings would be like read only to master. Now if user has read write access to master, then user requires at least read write access to account to edit, delete and create this object record. So for example, you have created one sharing rule which providing the visibility to a specific account, and visibility is read only. Now if you select this option, then you will be able to create, edit, delete this object record. Now for example, you have a sharing settings, and this option is selected, but sharing settings having read only access, then you will be not able to create, edit, delete this record, this object record. Okay, so it depends on the visibility. So you will be required read write access to the account to edit, delete, create these child records. Okay, so there is one option, allow reparenting. If you select this option, then you can change the master detail value, field value. You can change the master detail field value, but if you have unchecked this one, then you will be not able to change any value. So I am currently unchecking this and keeping this as read write. If you click next, save it. So you cannot create the master detail relationship. So if any child record exist for this object, then you cannot create the master detail relationship. In that case, what you have to do, you have to use this, you have to create one lookup relationship. So when you delete any field, it is appending _del with its API name. So you have lookup relationship. Now you need to populate this lookup relationship value with account name. And then change back it to master detail. So how do you change field type? Click on change field type and change it to master detail, and click next and save it. So you will see this one is master detail now. Now if you go to this record, you will see this one is master detail and it is locked. Now if you try to change the master of this record, you cannot, because this allow parent option is unchecked. Now you have to allow the reparenting. Click save. Now if you refresh this one, you will be able to change the master detail relationship to another parent, this one. Now if you delete the parent record, then child record also deleted. You see there is no record. So this is the special functionality of master detail. This is the relationship between master detail and lookup field, is that if you delete the master record, the child record is also deleted for master detail relationship. And for lookup, it can be blanked or it will not allow you to delete. So if you go to the sharing settings for this object, you will see it is now controlled by parent, and if you try to edit it, you will not find that object. So again another difference between lookup and master detail is that you cannot change the sharing settings for any detail object. It is controlled by parent. So if you have the visibility on the parent, you will have the visibility on the child also. Now this visibility can be controlled based on this value. So if the visibility on the parent is read only, then user will require So for example, in the sharing rule there is one option that account and contact access read only or read write. So if it is read only, and this option is checked, then you will be not able to edit or delete the detailed record. But if it is read write, then you will be able to edit or delete the detailed record. But if this is checked, then for both cases you can edit or delete the child record if you have the visibility of the master record. Okay, so I set to read only now, as I don't have sharing settings created. So now going with another difference. Sharing settings, if you have the visibility profile settings to access, if you have the master detail relationship, if you want to access child record, you need to have the minimum read permission on the parent record. So as you can see, this object and this object have a relationship. So if I remove this, its visibility also gone. If I want to have the visibility on the child object, this visibility has to be provided. So this is how we can provide the visibility on the parent and child object by profile. So this is the mandatory option you have to choose, that for profile you need to get the visibility of the parent object to access the child object. Minimum permission is read only. Now there is one option to create the roll-up summary field. So roll-up summary field is the, for example, you have a requirement to get the sum. This is the roll-up summary. So to get the sum, minimum, maximum value of a field, and also count of the child records. So if you have relationship with account and this object, then account is the parent and this is the child. So in account, if we create on roll-up summary field, we can get child records, for example sum of a specific field. So on this object, sum of a specific field, maybe it's number, minimum of a specific field, like for 10 records, what is the minimum value on this field, what is the maximum value of this field. So this is how we can create the roll-up summary field. Also you can apply filter, that only those records will be counted whose specific field condition satisfies. So for example, on this object I select this field. So if this field is true for those records, then only these values will be counted. So you can place count of the record, how many child records are there with specific condition or all records. You can place sum of a specific field for child records with some conditions. Also you can find maximum and minimum. So sum, count, minimum and maximum of child records using roll-up summary. So the difference between lookup and master detail is that you cannot create roll-up summary for lookup, but you can create master detail. If you can create roll-up summary for master detail relationship. Now there is another difference is that this field is always required. So if you have any master detail relationship between any object, any parent object and child object, this field has to be required or is always required. For lookup relationship, the field, it is not mandatory. If the field is optional, that you can make it required or optional. So these are the difference. Now another sharing difference is that for this profile, for this user, if you log in using this user and go to the account, you will not see account because the model is private and any account don't have the owner. Now I need to change the owner of this account. This is how you can change the owner of this account, or you can say manual sharing. Okay, so this user have account access as full access. Okay, and now if you log in using that user will have the visibility. So this is the user, this is the account. Now you can see these are the child records. Now you can modify this one also. Now this is automatically have the visibility because this is the owner. Now if you are sharing with any sharing rule, the sharing rule having read only permission on the account, and the lookup relationship is set as read write, then you cannot modify this one. But if the lookup relationship is set as read only, then you can modify the child records. Okay, so this is how the difference is made for lookup and parent relationship. So if you like this video, please like and subscribe our channel. Thank you. In our next video, we'll learn how to design application.